Welcome, and thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Darren. In my role as a safety speaker trainer, I have traveled the world to educate and train workers in utility, general industry, chemical, and oil and gas markets. We have conducted hundreds of live trainings around the globe, and in many of those trainings, we look to enhance our message by connecting our audience, you, with subject matter experts outside of what the topic may be for that day. In doing so, it solidifies the message by you being able to see and hear how safety is woven into everything we and others do. So that is what brings me to my guest today. Let me tell you a little bit about Darren McBurnett, SEAL retired. McBee, little did he know or realize his athleticism he demonstrated in high school and into college, including but not limited to the Boston Marathon, 2 Ironmans, and a family legacy of service would take him on a 24-year journey as a Navy SEAL. That journey included combat deployments in the Middle East and other hotspots around the globe, receiving 49 individual unit and campaign honors, including the Bronze Star. His professional portfolio includes work for Nike, National Geographic, Fox and Friends, Rolling Stone, CBS SEAL Team, and the movie Act of Valor. His work has appeared on everything from album covers to billboards to walls of Fortune 500 companies, and is in the homes of Charlie Sheen, Kid Rock, Jim McMahon, John Rich, Brent Burns, Roger Clemens, and John Daly. In fact, right behind me, you'll see the cover of his tabletop book, Uncommon Grit, which I strongly recommend you taking a look at. With that, McBee provides insight not only as a warrior and really as a warrior poet into the skills you can implement tomorrow to accomplish the mission, which is always to get your crew home safely, even when the battle space changes. McBee has developed a 5-part leadership and training series that you can use with your team to continue to hone your leadership skill and equip you with the strategies to be successful each day in the workspace. If you're listening to this, you're a specialist. You have had years of formal education, years of ongoing training, development, and enhancing your specific skill set. You have led and been led by the best in your trade. You have always been responsible for your own safety and getting home every day. But now you have a crew, a team, an organization looking to you to get them all home every day. If you want to learn more about McBee's background, information on where you can get your own copy of Uncommon Grit, and or book my good friend Darren, aka McBee, to talk to your team about SEAL tested and proven leadership principles that can help them all get home safely. Contact McBee at the link below. And with that, saying her out. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Derek. I appreciate that introduction. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor for me to share my journey with you. Some of the things that we're going to talk about when I sit down with everybody is mechanism of drive. What that is what is pushing you to be who you are. You know, what is that intrinsic desire to make a difference that you want to be, that pushes yourself and you try to be above the standard, making excellence your standard. It's like it's who you are. It's your mechanism drive. Another thing we're going to talk about is work ethic. There's a difference between working hard and work ethic. You know, work ethic is that thing that's inside you that no matter who's watching you, no matter who's looking at you, no matter who's taking notes on you or not taking anything on you, you're just doing it anyway because you want to make a difference in your life. Work ethic, it's a big difference than working hard, and we're going to dive into that aspect. We're going to jump into SEAL training, all the things that we learned in SEAL training. Or SEAL training is basic, but we learn how to adapt, how to overcome, how to push yourself, and understand that excellence is the standard. There's no such thing as mediocrity, and we learn discipline. We learn how to push ourselves beyond what we think our capabilities and capacities are as human beings, And that's what makes Navy SEALs a very, very unique breed, is the ability to push ourselves beyond what even the scope of how we operate as human beings, because that's the operating space that we are in. Is the common person doing the uncommon, and we're asked to do uncommon jobs. With that, inside of SEAL training, we learn discipline. We also learn competition. Why is competition so very important in SEAL training? And we're going to dive into that. And also, probably one of the biggest talking points is like that me to we, when you stop thinking about yourself. And that's one of the biggest things in SEAL training, is like, that's when you start to get it. That's when you start to understand, when you realize that you can't do it by yourself. You need the guys around you. And so once you start adapting that mindset, it's a lot easier to push yourself in SEAL training, because the guys next to you need you, and we'll go over those things. Remembering who you are. It's one of the biggest things that we have, is remembering who you are, because we know right now the battle space is changing. Did the battle space change for us as Navy SEALs? Yes. The landscape from Bosnia to Kosovo to Liberia to Iraq to Afghanistan, Yemen, Sudan, all across the globe, the landscape changed, the battle space changed. But did you change? No, we are still Navy SEALs. We still have a job to do, and that's one of the biggest things people understand. Is just because the space is changing, how you work has changed, it doesn't change who you are and what your job is. You have to stick to that. Mastering the basics is another thing we talk about. Not only mastering basics, but mastering the craft of what you do, because whatever job you're in, and you're, number one, either in charge of people, or in charge of people's destinies, or in charge of people's lives, especially your own life, you have to master what you do, because what's going to happen is you're going to be expected to do your job when stress comes. And when stress gets injected into your job, you have to be able to do it flawlessly. You have to be able to know what you're doing at all times, even no matter what's being thrown at you. And that's mastering the basics. And when we'll go into SEAL teams and how we accomplish all that, and still move forward, and still adapt to the change that's happening, adapt to the new standard operation procedures, and keep ourselves safe. And one of the biggest things that we have as far as our mission statements concerned is everyone comes home alive. Working in a high stress environment, it's just, we just went from high stress a job to the high stress environment that we live in. We have people shooting guns at us. We have people trying to kill us. We're jumping out of airplanes. We're swimming in the oceans. We're jumping onto moving ships. We're jumping out of moving airplanes, out of moving helicopters. I mean, everything we do is high stress. From the instant we leave the door of where we're doing, it's high stress, and we have to be able to manage that. And you have to manage it tactfully, number one, and be able to work with other people while stress is happening, and be able to shoot, move, and communicate. But the biggest thing with all that is effective communication. Another big thing we'll talk about is communication, which is key. The whole landscape with communication is changing, and we have to adapt to that. And you have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to communicate, number one, in battle, number two, in a high stress environment, and get the points that you want across, and people understand them. So communication is key. Lead from the front. We're going to talk about leadership quite a bit. We in the SEAL teams, we lead from the front. That's one of our biggest things. And also, if you don't know your people, how can you lead your people? Okay, we have a lot of things that we talk about with leadership. There's accountability. If you have accountability, it leads to accepted responsibility. With accepted responsibility, that means you're credible at what you do. And if you're credible, that means you're trustworthy. And that's the biggest thing when you're working, especially in the SEAL team. It should be for every environment or job you have. You're working with people, is you have to be able to trust your people. And that's a critical role in any job success or any life success, is trusting the people around you. So I'm very, very excited to share all these with you, to spend some time with everybody. And again, Derek, it's an honor to be here, and thank you so much for the opportunity.